Well, hi, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here from the Ruttenberg Library. I wanted to come to you with yet another book haul from this last summer. I have a table here that's full of books, so every once in a while, when I have time, I grab a couple of stacks, a stack or two, and then I try to show you those books. So this is more of those books I found this summer as I was out and about. And so here we go. This is Summer 2024 book haul. So first book that I have in this stack, and I don't know that there is a theme for any of this, but it's just kind of things that I picked it up and I was like, oh, that looks like it'd be interesting. So this first one is Through a Glass Darkly by Dr. Basil Willing Investigates by Helen McCloy. So this is from Crime Classics here. This is from Serious Books, and it is originally 1949. Obviously, this is not a 1949 copy. This is a reprint for 2017, but it sounded interesting. It says, Arcturus Crime Classics brings back into print great stories by great writers alongside names that will be familiar to crime buffs. The series showcases once famous but now neglected talents. All types of crime fiction are featured, from whodunits and police procedurals to offbeat mysteries and fast-paced thrillers. So this one says Gisela von Hohenems, I'm probably butchering that name, sorry, joins the teaching staff of an exclusive girls' school in upstate New York where she befriends fellow newcomer Faustina Coyle. But a climate of fear surrounds Faustina, and after several strange incidences which defy rational explanation, she is forced to resign. Gisela asks her fiancé, detective psychologist Dr. Basil Willing, to investigate. So there you go. There's one book that I picked up in this stack here. All right, so the next one I got at Dollar General, actually. I always kind of flip through their books because they're fairly cheap, $3, $4, maybe $5. I try to pick just the cheaper ones, but this is The German House by Annette Hess. The German House by Annette Hess. And it is from Harper Via, it's an imprint of HarperCollins Publishers, and this one is a 2019 book, and it sounded interesting because it's a World War II topic here, and it says, set against the Frankfurt Auschwitz trials of 1963, Annette Hess's international bestseller is a harrowing yet ultimately uplifting coming-of-age story about a young female translator caught between societal and familial expectations and her unique ability to speak truth to power, and she fights to expose the dark truths of her nation's pasts. So it says, for 24-year-old Eva Brun, World War II is just a foggy childhood memory. But everything changes when investigator David Miller shows up at her door with an unexpected job opportunity. Court interpreter, Eva, used to translating business contracts, must familiarize herself with shocking words. Asphyxiated, prison block, Auschwitz, and with each subsequent interview, the horrors of the war become more and more undeniable. Caught between her own moral reckoning and the wishes of her family, Eva joins a team of fiery prosecutors fighting to bring the Nazis to justice, and in the process changes both the present and the past of her country. So there you go, The German House. Sounded kind of interesting, so I picked it up. Didn't cost a ton. And that's what the story is with all of these. None of these cost very much at all. Now this next one my wife picked up for me. She thought maybe I'd be interested in this. It says, From Russia with Blood, the Kremlin's ruthless assassination program and Vladimir Putin's secret war on the West by Heidi Blake. Obviously, this is going to be, I mean, it's a pretty slanted point of view. You can tell just by the title and subtitle. But yeah, thought I'd give it a try. My wife bought it for me. I think she got it for dirt cheap. It comes from Mulholland Books, and it's an imprint of Little Brown and Company out of New York. It's a 2019 book. It does have some, color photos and stuff in the middle of it. So we'll see how this book goes. Might be just one of those, entertaining reads as far as, politics goes. And I say entertaining, not in cool, people are dying. That's not what I'm meaning. Just, political stuff. So this next one I picked up at Thrift World, and it is called America Pacifica by Anna North. And I don't know why, the cover caught my attention. I was like, that looks kind of neat. And I started reading the back, and it sounds kind of weird, but maybe it'd be all right. So hang on a minute. Let me tell you. This is from Back Bay Books, which is an imprint of Little Brown and Company, and 2011, 2012 printing here. Yep, this one's a 2012 printing. So it says, in the not too distant future, 18-year-old Darcy lives on the island of America Pacifica, one of the last places on Earth that is still habitable after the second ice age. The island is ruled by a mysterious dictator named Tyson, whose strict social hierarchy allows the richest residents to live in luxury, while most citizens live in hovels and can barely afford food. Darcy doesn't question the Pacifica's class system or the poverty she lives in until one night when her mother fails to come home. Then Darcy is forced on a quest into the dark underbelly of the island, a journey that will take her through Pacifica's corrupt history and make her an indispensable part of its future. America Pacifica imagines a world drastically different from the one we know today, and how we as humans might continue to live in it. So, I don't know, sounded interesting for some reason. Not my usual book to read, but sounded good. All right, a couple more of these. Okay, there we go. I peeled stickers off of books, and I have not taken any alcohol wipes or anything to get the sticky off of them, so the books are sticking together. I'm hoping nothing's going to rip. So anyway, this book is another cover buy. A couple of these are just cover buys. They looked like really cool. This one's called The Lost Village by Camilla Stein, and is translated by Alexandra Fleming. So I don't read a lot of translated work, so this was definitely, stepping out of my my comfort zone just a little bit. Not comfort zone necessarily, just out of my norm. Maybe that's the better way to look at it. It's out of my normal reading. And it says, this is from Minotaur Books, 2019. And again, this one I got, this one would have been a Dollar General buy, or Dollar Tree buy. And it says on the inside flap, it says, documentary filmmaker Alice Lindstedt has been obsessed with the vanishing residents of an old mining town dubbed the Lost Village since she was a little girl. In 1959, her grandmother's entire family disappeared in the mysterious tragedy, and ever since, the unanswered questions surrounding the only two people who were left, a woman stoned to death in the town center and an abandoned newborn, have plagued her. She's gathered a small crew of friends in the remote village to make a film about what really happened, but there will be no turning back. Not long after they've set up camp, strange things begin to happen. Equipment is destroyed, people go missing. As doubt breeds fear and their very minds begin to crack, one thing becomes startlingly clear to Alice. They are not alone. They're looking for the truth. But what if it finds them first? Come find out. Sounds like it could be a good Halloween read almost. So anyway, sounded intriguing, so I picked that up. Again, The Lost Village. Again, not one of my normal reads. A lot of these are not my normal reads. I've been, BookTube, I thank you all for that. That's something that I've noticed over these last, 5 years that I've been on BookTube, is that my reading has so greatly expanded. It's not even funny. I'm just branching out into new stuff, and it's a fun adventure all the time. And I thank all of you for that. So the next one that I picked up was a cover by. It just looked intriguing. It's not really anything special, but it just looks neat. I don't know. I like it. And it's Small World by Jonathan Evison. And this is, hang on a second here. This is a Dutton book, and it's from the year 2022. I'll read the cover of this one to you also. And again, this one's a Dollar Tree. Let's see. It says, Jonathan Evison's Small World is an epic novel for now. It says, set against such iconic backdrops as the California Gold Rush, the development of the Transcontinental Railroad, and a speeding train of modern-day strangers forced together by fate, this book is a grand entertainment that asks big questions. The characters of Small World connect in the most intriguing and meaningful ways, winning, breaking, and winning our hearts again, in exploring the passengers' lives and those of their ancestors more than a century before. Small World chronicles 170 years of American nation building from numerous points of view across place and time. And it does so with a full-hearted, full-throttle pace that asks on the most human, intimate scale whether it is truly possible to meet and survive the choices posed and forced by the age. The result is a historical epic with a Dickensian flair, a grand entertainment that questions whether our nation has made good on its promises. It dazzles as its characters come to connect with one another through time, and it hits home as it probes at our country's injustices, big and small, straight through to its deeply satisfying final words. And so, sounded interesting. So again, I picked it up. And this is one of those things that, Steve Donahue always talks about. You can't go wrong out in the dollar lot at the Brattle. Well, these are brand spanking new, and they're only $1.25 at Dollar Tree. And so you can really, just like what he says, you can afford to make a mess up. I mean, they're not expensive. You can just give it a try, and the most that you're out's $1.25. And it's worth the try. And so I picked that up, thinking it could be worth the try. It sounded interesting. This next one is from one of my all-time favorite authors, John Jakes, the author who passed away not that long ago. He wrote some epic books. The Kent Family Chronicles was an 8-volume historical fiction series about the founding of the nation, and he brought it from 1774 or 5, right in there, all the way up to the 1890s. And absolutely loved that series of books. It made me fall in love with reading all over again. And then he wrote, of course, the North and South series, the trilogy in the mid 80s about the Civil War, and absolutely loved those. And I've read all of his, I'm going to call them his recent books. So all of the books that he wrote from the Kent Family Chronicles in the 70s, the mid 70s, all the way up to the present. I've read all of those. I just haven't read any of his back work. He did science fiction. He did westerns. He did all of those. I've never read those. He's one of my favorite authors, and I have not read those because I can't get my hands on them. So, if any of you, oh my goodness, if anybody ever finds those and just wants to, get rid of them and send them my way, I would so take those books. Just something to think about. I just never see them. I am in that book desert, I guess, when it comes to that kind of stuff. I never see John Jakes stuff. But anyway, the one book that John Jakes wrote in the more recent stuff from the Kent Family Chronicles onward. The one that I did not own, that I've looked and looked and I never find a good copy of it. I found it before, but the copies were beat up. Well, The Gods of Newport. And I've read it a few times, a couple different times. Love the book. I like all his stuff. I think he's just a good storyteller. And this book is in really good shape. Nice hardback. Found it for, where did I find this one? I found this one at Thrift World. So this would have been, I think, a $2 buy. And so I was really happy to pick that up. It's about, the gods of Newport. So the rich people in Newport, and the story of the rich and the poor all mingling together, and new money versus old money and stuff like that. It was a really good story. A nice love story going through it, and John Jakes just spins a good yarn. So he is one of those authors that's going to be greatly missed with his passing. So anyway, let's keep going here. Getting close to the end. I got 4 more here. So the first of these 4 is a Ken Follett book. It's one of his newer ones, I believe. The Armor of Light. The Armor of Light. This is a chunky monkey, but it is in really good shape. It's an ex-library copy, but it looks like it's like brand new and never got read, which is a-okay with me, because I like my books in good shape when I can get them in good shape. And I bought this. I found this at, did I get this one? I may have gotten this one at Thrift World also. I can't entirely remember. So I believe this was a $2 book. It may have been, it's from the Rolling Hills Consolidated Library. So it may have been from Books Revisited. But even if it's from Books Revisited, it was a $3 copy. So it was either $2 or $3. And originally it's a $38 book. And it's in, you look at the spine and everything, it's solid. It's in brand new condition here. So this book, Armor of Light from Viking, it is a 2023 book. So yeah, it's from last year, and it's one of his newer ones. It's in what's that series called? Hang on a second here. The Armor of Light. So is this the Kingsbridge novels? Is this one of those? I believe. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it belongs with, the Kingsbridge novels. And I'm gonna be doing a read. I gotta take a look at my books. I think I have them all now, the Kingsbridge. I read his trilogy, the Century trilogy. That was The Fall of Giants, Winter of the World, and Edge of Eternity. I read all 3 of those. Absolutely loved them. They were wonderful. And so the Kingsbridge, everybody always asks me, have you read those? And I'm like, no, not yet. I want to get them all before I start them, because I don't want to, have to wait on a novel. But I think I may have them. I have to, look through my stuff there. All right, so I got that. You guys, that's a pretty familiar book. I'm not going to read from it. Most of you are aware of that one. This next one is called Field of Bones by J.A. Jantz. It's a Brady novel of suspense. And I'm always looking for new authors to pick up on. And I've seen this guy's name quite a bit. And this was, cheap. I think I found this one maybe at our community center. And interesting. Hang on a minute. The book is upside down in the jacket, so that did not help me when I went to look for it. So I either got this at our community center, or I may have gotten it at our Friends of the Library book cart at the Clarinda Library. That may be where I picked it up. I can't remember. So it was dirt cheap anywhere around it. Probably, if it was at the Friends of the Library, it was only $1. And if it was at the community center here in town, then it was probably $0.25. So this is from William Moreau, and it's a 2018 book. And I'll tell you a little bit about this one. It says, though she's still recovering from a series of tragedies, Joanna Brady's life has never been busier. Her older daughter's off to college. Her 5-year-old son is full of energy and boundless curiosity. and she's just given birth to a new daughter. On the same night, she won her third election as Cochise County Sheriff in a squeaker of a race. In addition, her husband, Butch, is away on an exhausting book tour. Despite her devotion to her work, Joanna is determined to see her maternity leave through this time. But in this beautiful desert landscape, home of Wyatt Earp, Tombstone, and the shootout at the OK Corral, a monster is roaming free, a serial killer who has transformed Joanna's small corner of the Southwest into a field of bones. When a stranger turns in a human skull found on the far side of the San Bernardino Valley in the Pelanchio Mountains between Arizona and New Mexico, it is the beginning of a multiple homicide case. As much as she would rather stay home with her newborn and lose herself in the cold cases to be found in her father's long unread diaries, Joanna instead finds herself overseeing a complex investigation involving multiple jurisdictions and an FBI profiler. Filled with beloved characters, small-town charm, vivid history, intriguing mystery, in the scenic Arizona desert backdrop that have made the Joanna Brady books perennial bestsellers, this latest entry featuring the popular sheriff is sure to please J.A. Jance's legions of fans. Yeah, so kind of excited about that. J.A. Jance there. My big thing is, if I like this book and I like the way that her writing flows, I'm kind of excited because if you're not familiar with Jance, there are lots and lots of titles to pick from. So I like finding authors. Oh, there's more. So I like finding authors that I can, with series. I like to read series. I like to. One of my favorite things to do, especially with police procedurals or detective novels, that kind of stuff. One of my favorite things to do is just to get to know the characters, and it's like watching a sitcom every week, and so I love finding that. So I'm really hoping that J.A. Jance's writing strikes my fancy. So, all right, last two, almost done here. Last two. These I got, again, these are dirt cheap. I think these were community center buys, I think. This one, well, maybe not. I lied. Maybe these are Dollar Tree buys. So these were $1.25, brand new hardbacks. Not even a remainder mark. So that's always good. And this is Defending Britta Stein by Ronald H. Balson. And just by the planes, you can tell it's like a World War II setting. So real excited about that. And this is a St. Martin's Press from 2021. Again, I like these. These are a lot of these are just single volumes that I find at Dollar Tree, but I really like them. I found that there's a lot of World War II based fiction novels, and I just didn't realize how many there were, and in recent years they printed bunches of them, so I've been picking them up here and there. Anyway, says Chicago 2018, Old Heinrichs, a popular restaurateur, is set to be honored by the Danish and American Association for his many civic and charitable contributions. Frequently appearing on local TV, he is well known for his actions in Nazi-occupied Denmark during World War II. Most consider him a hero. Britta Stein, however, does not. The 90-year-old Chicago woman levels public accusations against Heinrichs by spray painting coward, traitor, collaborator, and war criminal on the walls of his restaurant. Mrs. Stein is ultimately taken into custody and charged with criminal defacement of property. She also becomes the target of a bitter lawsuit filed by Heinrichs and his son, accusing her of defamation and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Attorney Catherine Lockhart, though hesitant at first, agrees to take up Mrs. Stein's defense. With the help of her investigator husband, Liam Taggart, Lockhart must reach back into wartime Denmark and locate evidence that proves Mrs. Stein's innocence. Defending Britta Stein is critically acclaimed author Ronald Balson's thrilling take on a modern-day courtroom drama and a masterful rendition of Denmark's wartime heroics. So, yeah, looking forward to that. It sounds like it's a real good one. Just all kinds of really good stuff you can stories that you can create out of the World War II setting. All right, so this last one is called Hidden Pictures, and it's by Jason Rakulik, I think is how you say that. And I've seen this one in Walmart, Target. This was one of those books that sat out on the shelves, and it's got an interesting cover. I like it. It's probably a cover buy. You could probably make that claim on me. But again, it's a brand new hardback. You can't go wrong when you get a brand new hardback for next to nothing. Flatiron Books out of New York, and it is a 2022 book, so it is one of the newer ones. So let me read this very last one, and then we'll wrap up this video. Okay, it says, fresh out of rehab, Mallory Quinn takes a job in the affluent suburb of Springbrook, New Jersey, as a babysitter for Ted and Caroline Maxwell. She is to look after their 5-year-old son, Teddy. Mallory immediately loves his new job. She lives in the Maxwell's pool house, goes on nightly runs, and has the stability she craves. And she sincerely bonds with Teddy, a sweet, shy boy who is never without a sketchbook and pencil. His drawings are the usual fare: trees, rabbits, balloons. But one day he draws something different: a man in a forest dragging a woman's lifeless body. As the days pass, Teddy's artwork becomes more sinister, and his stick figures evolve into more complex, lifelike sketches, well beyond the ability of any 5-year-old. Mallory begins to suspect these are glimpses of an unsolved murder from long ago, perhaps relayed by a supernatural force lingering in the forest behind the Maxwell's house. With the help from a handsome landscaper and an eccentric neighbor, Mallory sets out to decipher the images and save Teddy, while coming to terms with a tragedy in her own past before it's too late. So it just sounded interesting, very intriguing. So I thought I'd give it a try. So what do you think, BookTube? Between, in this whole stack, I bet I didn't spend, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I bet I didn't even spend $20 on all these books. I am willing to put money down I didn't spend $20 on that stack. I thought I did pretty good. That's going to take me, a while to get through those. It's hours of reading, hours of enjoyment for less than $20. So what do you think? Do you think I did all right? And what great deals have you found out in the book world? So until next time, let me know down in the comments section. And until next time, happy reading.